this acoustic girl just lost everything in court. This girl, let's call her Queso's sister. Now this story all begins with this life-changing decision from Queso's sister herself.
Are you a failure? What would your answer be?
No.
Okay. Did you fail out of high school?
Yes.
Then how are you not a failure?
No.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Illness. That's right. Because she's extremely mentally deficient in the head, she decides to drop out of high school to pursue a streaming career on Twitch. But shortly after dropping out of high school like an idiot, she decides to go all in with streaming. I mean, she's streaming 3-4 days a week. Like, she's probably thinking to herself, I'm gonna be the next Pokemon. But then you look at her viewer count. Bruh, you're gonna be the next McDonald's cashier! Like, what you mean? Let's put it this way. Her viewer count at the time when she started streaming was not that great. It was definitely not drop out of high school great. But under her Twitch channel, AdeptTheBest, she's streaming this brand new popular game called Overtrash. And as you guessed it, it's a trash game.
You're selling me hard on Overwatch 2 right now. How bad can they be? How am I supposed to miss these shots? Holy sh**.
But through the game Overtrash, she meets this up-and-coming big streamer called xQc, or xQc for short. But they start bonding with one another, they start queuing together in the game, they're pretty much dating. Now, this might be a coincidence. It's not. But as soon as Queso's sister started appearing in xQc streams and started collabing with him, her viewer count skyrockets all the way from 20 viewers, all the way to 3,000 viewers.
I ended up dropping out though to come back to streaming because at the time I was like, this is what I really want. It's here. I'm not going to miss it. But I ended up just going for it and not letting that hold me back. And I'm really happy that I did.
Yeah, of course you're glad, because that's how you met xQc's meat, bro. Which came with a huge paycheck for every pack you give him. My bad, but I might keep it real. Like, I don't know why she keeps saying, I'm glad that I kept streaming, as if, like, she kept grinding, and all that grind paid off, and that she's self-made. And you just know that this girl is the kind of person to 100% say that streaming is the hardest job ever. Because remember, streaming is the hardest job ever. At least according to this small-headed person.
A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Comeback lad, bruh. You get to choose to stream 9 hours. People who work from 9 to 5, they don't get to choose like you. And they don't get paid 20,000 bucks per hour like you do. But don't worry guys, because nothing screams hardest job in the world than literally getting paid tens of thousands of dollars for sleeping on your stream. But of course, if you were to go to one of Queso's sister's streams from back then, don't be surprised if you were to hear her say stuff like, guys, I don't want to be known as xQc's girlfriend. I want to be known as AdeptTheBest. Like, you know those coping explanations, like people who are clearly not self-made try to tell to the public, like, guys, I want to be known by my brand. Like, when in reality it's like, you're not self-made. Like, we know you're only popular because you're dating X person. But eventually they meet in real life and even move in together. But that is when things start going wrong. When they move in together and start going out together, Queso's sister starts showing some serious red flags. For example, one evening, the streamer couple decides to visit another streamer who we'll call 13th Reason. However, unbeknownst to xQc,
Is this the song?
Yes.
the streamer he and Queso's sister were visiting was in the middle of recording a music video. This streamer feels like his music video is missing some spice to it, and he wants to make it more entertaining. So 13th Reason decides to ask xQc's e-girl whether or not she would be down to dance with him.
Alright, well let's do this. We're doing a music video that's completely hood as so we need you to twerk. Do you do that?
Now, let me ask you a simple question. If a random person decides to ask your girlfriend or your boyfriend to dance with him or her, what do you think an appropriate action for your partner to take would be? Well, it doesn't matter what you think, because not only does she decide to dance with him, she decides to twerk so hard that she made it grow. Now, because xQc is completely oblivious, or because he's a proud member of the Cox Life Matter movement, he decides to completely ignore that clear, obvious red flag and decides to cope by saying stuff like, that's not even my girlfriend. Psh, we're not even dating. She's just my roommate.
Are you two dating? Okay, so you don't care if she twerks.
Bruh. Clearly he's BSing, and make no mistake, even if he wasn't coping and what he was saying was actually the truth, that's even worse!
It's the actual cock shot.
Like what? Are you gonna literally look at your crush, literally doing some sus moves on another man's, and then look at her and be like, I can't wait to date her?
I am a cock. I don't give a CLM, dude.
Miss me with that cuckoldry! Because if you're telling me that xQc was not dating that girl when that clip took place, but then he decided to willingly date her after he saw her with his own eyes, twerk on a random month, then that's even worse! You know, I feel like this is the kind of girl you get when you're look maxing. Now for you normal human beings who don't know what look maxing is, it's when you do that sped face like this. Don't get it twisted. This is not look maxing. This is autism maxing. But that twerking incident is just a glimpse of the real personality that was hiding deep inside Queso's sister's fat. As you'll recall, this streamer couple has now moved in together at this point. And obviously, they start streaming together, they start collabing together. But this one game, GTA RP, which is a game where you roleplay as a police officer or a fast food worker, but this one game in particular would raise another red flag and would be another revelation as to how this relationship wasn't meant to be.
You said unmute, I unmuted.
Right. Because I'm tired of hiding behind this that you do every time.
Okay, now I admitted to you the other day that in character I was molding, and then out of character,
Don't go there with all of that.
Okay, but
Do you want to end so that we got the talk that you asked me for or not?
Now keep in mind that these two clowns are raging at one another because of a video game. And personally, I don't give a shit about the specific details about that video game incident. But if I was to guess, I see xQc role-playing as a fast food worker, so maybe the argument stems from xQc flipping the wrong burger and serving his girlfriend, Queso's sister, a double Big Mac instead of the triple Big Mac. Come on, bruh. If it looks like you're literally about to break up over a video game argument, you know that relationship is cooked. But the twerking incident and the GTRP incident have nothing compared to what happens next. Now it's a few years later and xQc at this point falls very ill. Unfortunately for him, he's getting swatted left and right by some of his viewers, forcing him to move houses every few weeks. He would move houses so often because of the swatting that he would sometimes have to ask his friends if he could live with them temporarily. And because of all of this, he starts having severe panic attacks, severe anxiety attacks, to the point where he can't sleep anymore, he's sleeping 2-3 hours a day, and he even goes as far as to sleepwalk. And the way he would sleepwalk, it would be extremely creepy. But one day, while xQc was squatting at one of his friend's house, xQc's friend, who is sleeping on his bed, you know, he's having a good dream, hears a loud bang! I think a stock sound, which wakes him up abruptly, and he goes to see what's going on, just to see xQc sleepwalking like a zombie with a hole on the wall next to him.
I also sent you the picture. You can show your chat.
oh Jesus.
It's a huge. Did you use your knee or your fist?
My knee, I think. I don't remember it. Like I said, I'm not lucid when this happens.
I know, but it's crazy that you Captain Falcon jumped and kneed the wall.
Yeah.
But this is just to say that xQc's health at this point in time was at an all-time low. Becoming self-aware about the fact that his health has been declining extremely rapidly, the fact that he's getting 2-3 hours of sleep every day, and the fact that he's getting constant panic attacks, he decides to start preparing for the worst. He decides to write a will. He puts his brother's name on it, his parents' names on it, and at the very least, he's happy to know that if he is to pass away, his family would be taken care of. But this moment of comfort would be short-lived, because Queso's sister, remember, his girlfriend, gets a hold of it and sees that her name is not on it. Queso's sister's initial reaction to xQc writing a will would not be her showing concern as to how xQc's health is declining so fast that he's now considering writing a will and considering the possibility of him passing away soon, but it would instead be her asking him directly and instantly, what about me? What do I get when you oof?
I don't feel healthy. I don't feel good. There's a bunch of people around that are crazy and like that. There's a bunch of stuff at the house I'm not gonna talk about. And I was like, I'm gonna write my will. Yeah, exactly. And then she said what she said. She said, it was like, oh, I don't feel good. I might, you know, what that means if I die, whatever, right? And then she's like, you know, what do I get? You know, like if I die, and I'm like, no. I'm like, phew. I'm like, get the fuck out.
Now, I already know what you're smelling. You're probably like, it smells like a gold digger to me, bruh. But make no mistake, you're probably just smelling her smelly coochie instead. As oblivious as xQc is, and even though he has a negative IQ, even he cannot ignore that ultimate red flag from Queso's sister herself. xQc decides to end things with her and break up. Shortly after breaking up with Queso's sister, xQc does his best to try to move on from her. I mean, he starts dating someone else. I mean, for example, he starts dating this British bisexual girl with a tooth cap in the middle of her teeth who ended up cocking xQc live on stream.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
And obviously, that relationship didn't work out. Not because xQc got cocked and didn't like it. In the contrary, he loved getting cocked. No, it didn't work out because Kisu's sister found a way to get involved in the relationship and made them break up. To sabotage their relationship, Kisu's sister decides to dig deep in the British girl's past and she finds some dirt on her. She tells xQc about it, who then proceeds to break up with her. Now to this day, we still don't know what the dirt on the British girl is, but if I was to guess, maybe she's not actually British, but Australian instead. Now that is something worth breaking up over. Now you've probably noticed this weird thing too. You're probably asking yourself, why is Kisu's sister still trying to involve herself with xQc, even though they broke up? Now I want you to pay attention because you might notice this weird behavior pattern as well. So one day, xQc streaming late at night, like at 3 AM, this game over trash, once again, and he receives a text from his ex, Kisu's sister. She asks him in the middle of the night at 3 AM whether or not she can go to his house to take a fat dump because she just got out of a Halloween party and she needed to, I guess, take a fat dump. I mean, this is definitely normal behavior. I mean, don't you guys also like call your ex sometimes and say, hey, at 3 AM and ask like, hey, can I go take a fat dump? Like, you know, I ate like 3 Big Macs and I just gotta deposit a little present inside of your toilet. I mean, surely that's normal. But here's the thing though. Not only does she take a fat dump inside of xQc's house, while xQc is streaming his game of over trash, she decides to come to his room and she decides to violate his neck without xQc's consent. So I think we're all starting to understand what's going on. Clearly she's trying to play the long game, she's trying to get back together with xQc because maybe she misses the lifestyle that xQc was providing for her and, you know, maybe her views are going to an all-time low because of her being unable to collab with xQc anymore. But nah, don't worry, that dip in viewership from her, that's just a coincidence. Because remember, she's self-made, but xQc ultimately doesn't bite, and they officially never get back together. At this point, the sweating has finally stopped, and xQc's health is finally recovering, he's finally relaxing, but that would soon change when xQc would get swatted again, but this time, not by cops, but by his ex-girlfriend Kisu's sister instead.
Yeah, $10 promise, $2.
Chat, we forgot. Oh my god, we forgot.
Yeah! Well, this definitely confirms that xQc did in fact dodge a bullet when he broke up with her, but the reason as to why Kisu's sister decided to swat xQc is because she was determined to getting a piece of that will no matter what. Once Kisu's sister realized that there was no way that she was gonna get back with xQc, like her sabotaging xQc's relationship with another girl, once she realized that her plan to get back together with xQc wasn't working out, she went for the next move.
Oh my god, shut up! My god!
That's right, she decides to sue xQc. She sues xQc because she claims to the judge that they were both willing to get married. They were both planning to get married. And under common law marriage in Texas, which is where this lawsuit was based in, she would be entitled to a huge portion of xQc's income if she was to win the case. But obviously, all of this is a bunch of BS. They were never married. Like, this is just a ploy from Kisu's sister to, you know, yoink as much as she can from xQc. But while this lawsuit is going on, she does her best to abuse the law. Like, she goes as far as to get xQc kicked out from his own house that he paid for and gets the judge to agree to let her live instead of xQc inside that house while the lawsuit resolves itself.
Okay. I'm getting out. Thank you for helping out.
But not only does she get xQc kicked out from his own house, but she also taunts him and humiliates him as much as she can. For example, for some reason, xQc's own car is in her possession during the entirety of the lawsuit. And of course, she would drive it around, take pictures of her inside of it. And by the way, shout out to McLaren for designing cars that are sturdy enough to support her weight. She's driving xQc's car around, taking pictures inside of it, and posting them on her public stories on Instagram, knowing that xQc would see them. But fast forward to nearly a year later, December of 2023, xQc finally gets some good news.
They just gave me the news that I was no longer in any significant legal battle, and it's all over. And it kind of just caught me by surprise. I was at the computer.
Queso's sister loses the lawsuit. And that's not even the most hilarious part about this whole thing. Shortly after losing the lawsuit, her own lawyers decide to go to xQc and beg him for money to pay for her lawyer fees. Because obviously, she can't afford those lawyers. Like, she's not made of money like xQc.
At one point, they asked me if I want to like agree to sell the car, so they can pay for their fees. Oh shit, I remember that. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. They got a request of like, hey man, could you sell the car, and split in half so we can pay for our fees? And I'm like, what?
So wait, hold up a second. You're telling me some people who literally did their best to try to ruin xQc's life by cutting his net worth by half over a big lie of hers are now asking him to pay them? Are they acoustic? But even though xQc might be a cuck, he is still built different because he decides to countersue Queso's sister, knowing fully well that she does not have the means or the money to pay for lawyers, or even pay her previous lawyers for the lawsuit of hers. But this is where we get to the biggest plot twist this whole story. Believe it or not, but Queso's sister's initial intention was never to sue xQc in the first place. In fact, shortly after breaking up, she only wanted a small little favor from xQc himself. All she wanted was a small breakup gift of $2 million.
I mean, she tried down the line to say like, oh yeah, like I asked you for like a parting amount or something like that. Like she asked for a house worth 2 mil or more. Was the demand. The argument was, I was there, you were able to get all this and acquire all that, and now with this you take care of your family and you house your family. It's only fair that now we separate it, that I get to house my family.
Now, I'm gonna keep it real. This might be a hot take, but I'm gonna say what needs to be said. It's not because you were literally picking up xQc's DoorDash orders and brought his Uber Eats or DoorDash orders to him, and it's not because you were cleaning after his mess that you're suddenly the missing piece of the puzzle, that you're the reason why xQc's rich. You're not worth 2 mil, mon gars. You were xQc's glorified maid. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But Queso's sister's lost everything. Her views are at an all-time low, she's got no friends, and is now getting sued by the person she tried stealing from. Moral of the story is, don't be a gold digger.
Money, 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 money.